So first of all, why test listening? I guess for most of us as language teachers it seems fairly obvious. Of course you test listening. It's one of the 4 basic language skills. This chap is looking out over a Birmingham environment. It would be nice if we could just sort of plug something in and understand what was going on in his brain, but of course we can't do that. We have to find, as yet, we have to find other ways of testing listening. Another alternative, apart from scripted, is to go for something that is semi-scripted, where you might give actors or give people a topic, but control the kind of language they use a bit more. Ask them to use the sort of vocabulary and sort of structures that you would like your students to be tested on. You might, give them particular phrases, particular sentence starters. And the advantage over something that is totally scripted would be that you might end up with a slightly more natural sounding conversation with the natural pauses that come up when people are speaking in an authentic way. It may also be more useful for your students to consider using tasks that use non-native speakers of English. After all, it's quite likely that an awful lot of their interactions in English in future will not be with native speakers, so why not use that kind of English as well as part of a listening test. I've kind of always thought that one of the best tests of listening might be to tell a joke and have the students who laugh pass. But that would be a totally authentic task. And I think if you're writing a test, it is important to think about those things. How easy is it going to be to mark? If you have huge numbers of candidates potentially going to take your test, then you may well be swayed in favour of those that are easiest to mark, which would be multiple choices, so yes, matching, that kind of thing, anything where there's just a right or wrong answer. So, you weigh up whether it's harder to prepare or harder to prepare, easier to mark, or the other way around. I guess again, it's all going to depend on your context.
Placement testing is often at some kind of entry point into some kind of setting. So people will, their story up to that point of your testing population will be they'll have different stories thus far. And I would say, generally listening is probably the most jagged edge of it, because some people will have been doing a lot of listening practice, they'll be used to it, they may be used to speaking a lot, and other people won't. So the more you depend on listening in the placement test, the more likely you are to need to move those people around afterwards. So you might have to do a second placement test, particularly if you've got people coming into an English-speaking or a target language country, they'll probably jump around afterwards, so that will be the problem with this.